Good evening. It's Tom Novak with Novak Weather with a video update. It's been a while since I've had an update. I usually don't do them in the summer months because it's so difficult predicting thunderstorm activity, where exactly heavy rain events are going to happen, where a thunderstorm is going to pop up, severe weather activity. Those are all difficult things to predict. But tonight, I get a funny feeling that there is going to be some flooding rains, at least localized flooding rains, over portions of southern Minnesota and western and northern Wisconsin, central Wisconsin, during the day tomorrow, which would be Thursday, June 11th. And I'm going to show you why. We're going to take a look at some computer models, and then we'll show you a quick map of the bullseye area on where I think this heavy rain event is going to happen. Right now, what you're looking at is a computer model. This is the NAM computer model. And what you're seeing right now with the NAM computer model is a total precipitation output, and this is going to stretch from tonight through the next 48-hour period. And right now we are zeroed in on early tomorrow morning. This is at about 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. I want you to at least look at this bullseye of heavy precipitation. This is precipitation in excess of 2 to 3 inches that is developing over southeastern South Dakota, northeastern Nebraska, and then now starting to spread into southern Minnesota. Watch what happens to this precipitation shield as we go through time. This is now early Friday morning, so this is about over a 24-hour period from early Thursday morning to early Friday morning. And take a look. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out where heavy rain is expected. In fact, flooding rains, potential flooding rains are expected over southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. Basically, draw a line from Sioux City and Sioux Falls, South Dakota, east and north to Rochester and the Twin Cities, and then continue that line northeast to near Hayward, Wisconsin, probably Wausau, Wisconsin. That area, at least if you believe the NAM computer models, is expected to get in excess of 3-4 inches of rain between now and Friday morning. That is a lot of rain over a large area, which is why I'm very concerned for flooding over a good chunk of southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin during the day on Thursday and into the overnight hours. Now, we may want to nudge this precipitation shield just a little bit further south, maybe 50 miles or so. But regardless, it's not going to make much of a difference. There's going to be heavy rain over basically all of southern Minnesota, western Wisconsin, including the Twin Cities and Rochester. And as you can see here, there's going to be a sharp north to south cutoff in the precipitation shield in between Minneapolis and Old St. Cloud and Alexandria. Alexandria will likely not even get a drop out of this, while the Twin Cities and especially the southern Twin Cities suburbs may be looking at 3, 4, 5 inches of rain. Okay, let's take a look at the radar. This is future radar starting, we're going to put this in tomorrow morning. This is the future radar for tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. And look at this large area of heavy rain. Now, I'm not very concerned at all about severe weather. I'm just concerned about steady, heavy rain over southern Minnesota. And by Thursday morning, by about 7 a.m., you'll see that it's creeping into the Twin Cities already at that time. So if we go back in time a little bit, here you can see this is midnight tonight, storms developing over southeastern South Dakota. And then just watch how this heavy rain shield moves northeast over time so that by tomorrow afternoon, basically a washout over all of southern Minnesota, the southern one half of Minnesota, and basically the whole northwestern half of Wisconsin. And then if we continue through time, look at that heavy rain right over the Twin Cities at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And that rain just continues. Basically a front stalls right over southern Minnesota, basically along I-90. And this front is going to act like a sponge. Air is going to pile up over this front during the day and overnight hours tomorrow, and that's what's going to create this heavy rain event. Some of these storms may train over each other during the day and evening and overnight hours tomorrow. Finally, the rain pushes out on Friday morning, but needless to say, that's about a 12 to 24-hour period of rain. And believe me, folks, that's a lot of rain that we are going to need to keep an eye on. This is a very serious situation because, once again, when you get 4, 5, 6 inches of rain over a large piece of real estate, that can create flooding, some of it some potentially significant flooding in some local communities in southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. What is the area that I'm most concerned about? Well, let's just take a look at this graphic that I made just a little bit ago. So this is hot off the press, and here it is, this enhanced risk of some potential flooding over basically the southern 1/3 of Minnesota. So draw a line from Sioux City, South Dakota, northeast into the Rochester area, the southern Twin Cities, and then continue that northeast to near Wausau, Wisconsin. That is the area that I believe has the greatest potential for flooding rains between about 7 a.m. tomorrow morning and 7 a.m. Friday morning. And then around that, I am concerned about at least some flooding in the La Crosse area, Sioux Falls area, and then the northern Twin Cities metro. So if you're watching this video and you are in these areas, please, please, please be aware of the situation. And quite frankly, folks, I'd love to tell you that this is the last big rain event that we have coming. But looking at computer models over the next 7 to 10 days, it looks stormy for much of the upper Midwest, including southern Minnesota, even as we head into the weekend and certainly in the next week. So whatever rain we get here over the next 24 to 36 hours, that's just going to soak in, and then rain that we receive, additional rain that we receive after that, will not be able to soak in, and that will create even more potential for flooding as we head into the next 7 to 10 days. I wish I had better news for you, but that's just what we're up against. Have a great night.